All right, I had to take care of a little actual work there, but we're back. So keep that in mind. All right, so wooden bracers. So I'm gonna be it's got 1 armor. Well, it starts with 1 armor, so it can go up to 3 armor, and it's got 2 armor breaking. For 2, well, in this one anyway, for 2 crystals, that's not a terrible deal. So for these, I'm not going to talk about crystal costs just because, again, they could vary depending on the actual color of the item. So we'll just talk about their abilities there. Wooden bracers are pretty cheap though. So as is a tunic. So tunic just gives you armor, but 3 armor, that's for a relatively cheap cost, that's not wholly terrible. I do have one of these in blue. It's a healing armor. So this one does normal healing, and it's got up to 3 armor. Eventually it'll get group heal and 4 armor. So kind of like a fishman. Not bad. I like mine. I used to use mine anyway. I don't really use it anymore, but that's there. We've got this feather amulet. So this is good if you have flying, obviously, because it says you've got group dive. So this says all monsters with flying gain dive. When evading an attack due to flying, increase the physical damage until the end of the next turn. So this, I saw this actually in work against a, oh god, who's that? It's not a red dragon, but it's that one red thing that's on top of I can't remember the name. But let me go back. It's a monster. It's a red monster. I should know this name too. I feel silly now. Not this one. Is it here? This one, Cat Knight. That's his name. So actually, I saw this in effect with Cat Knight, and I kept missing because, of course, you're always going to miss flying animals. And his attack just kept going up and up and up, and there's no cap. So it's just going to keep going up and up and up. And it's I mean, he was doing pretty absurd damage to me. So this item's not terrible, and that'll happen for every single flying animal. So imagine him, or obviously the blue dragon with like a banner. Oh, banner parry doesn't have flight, does he? Maybe like a Quetzal. I mean, you could do, and him, of course, the Cat Knight. I mean, you could do some pretty serious damage. So it's very nice because everybody with flying will gain this. So it's a pretty cool item. Healing staff. So the heal staff. This one does normal healing with attacking and armor breaking. Not terrible. It's okay. I'll allow it, right? All right, moving on to the next page. Interesting. My pages look different. I wonder why my 2 items there are different. Huh. They're like in different orders. Anyway, so we've got this item here, Balance Ring. This one does a variety of things. It does counterattack. It also does mirror shield and physical shield. So it's kind of an all-around item there. It won't unlock the physical shield until level 4 though, so keep that in mind. But it does have two shield for magic, so yeah, it's good. There's that, I guess. The monk armor also has counterattack and then eventually gets piercing. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Bracers. So bracers, if you don't have the Shuriken and you don't have a Captain Shield, all you're left with is bracers. And they can come in handy. Don't hate on the bracers. You probably won't see it in high-end play, but you'll definitely see it in beginner to intermediate because it's a great item, and it's a necessary item with all the magic characters out there. Do beware though, if you get poisoned, these rage bracers are worthless. So that's the downside of that. The shield, love the shield, probably one of my favorite items for specifically my deck. Because when you upgrade it, it does only have 2 shield, but it has 2 physical resistance. So this is not going to work on everybody, but there is a certain subset of monsters that this is fantastic on. The ones that come to mind: Red Dragon, what's his name? Rock Monster, Snail Mail. Who's that other guy? Even Rock Spider. People are sleeping on Rock Spider because he costs 3 crystals, but Rock Spider has 2 physical resistance already built in. So you put this on him, he can't be hit even by a banner parrot. He needs to be hit by a banner parrot with Commander Banner. so that he does 5, or he needs to be hit by a Quetzal that, you know, is being banner parroted, so to speak. You know, so he requires 5 with a shield. He'll require 5 attack to be hit 1 time, you know, so don't sleep on those rock spiders. All right, they're pretty disgusting. So you've got the shield. I love the shield for my deck specifically. This may not work in every deck, but for me, the shield is top tier with my snail mail. He's fantastic. Give him 4 physical resistance, and that's huge. Oh, the other one, honorable mention to Lobster. Lobster's pretty awesome too. We've got the Falcon Crest. So this one's pretty cool. It'll give you armor plus chaos damage. You know, I think the sweet spot for this one is level 2. Because then you at least have a 50-50 chance of, allegedly 50-50 chance of doing 2 damage. You know, when you throw it up to 3, you do lose that 1 extra armor. And, you know, you're down to a 33% chance of doing 3 damage. So I think level 2 is a sweet spot for this one. That's where I would leave it. So the leather armor does one thing and does it very, very well. All it does is give you shield. It gives you 6 of it. You add that to somebody like Rock Monster, who has enchanted armor, and you've got 9 freaking health for your shield. That's amazing. So it's not gonna do anything else but protect you, but it does that very, very well. Then we have the Bavarian Armor. So this one is interesting. It doesn't yet gain melee attack, but it will at level 4. It has 5 armor, and it has piercing. So I was actually using this in blue for my my snail mail for a few days, and it does actually work. So if he had only 1 shield left and they hit my snail mail, 1 would go to the shield and the other 2 would go to the actual health. So this does also work on thorn damage, so keep that in mind. That's pretty cool. Piercing in and of itself is super underrated. There will be one day where piercing owns all, but not right now. So then we have the Ranger Gloves. You don't really see this one too much. It won't gain thorns until a really long time, till level 5. It does have counterattack and 4 shields, so I guess there's that. But again, you don't see this one very often. I don't think I've ever actually seen it been played at all. Then we have the Thief Cloak. So this one always does 1 damage, so it's a 100% chance to do at least 1 damage, which is actually really good. And then it'll go up to 4 shield there. This is actually pretty good for your side units. They are cheaper in different colors, so keep that in mind. But maybe for like your Bucan or something who only has 5 health, you know, throw this on him and at least he'll live a little bit longer, you know. Unless he's up against another Bucan, and then you're screwed. So that's that. Next page. You'll notice I don't have a lot of these. So we've got Sight Bracers. So these always do 1 damage, and they'll always do 1 archery damage. What's that called? Range damage. And it has shield. So again, this is another good item for, you know, your side units if you don't have like Commander Banner or something like that already, just to keep them alive just a wee bit longer. You've got your Metal Cap. Again, Metal Caps do one thing and they do it pretty well. This is a lesser version of that leather armor. It's got 5 shield there, so it's not terrible. But it is only meant to protect. And you know what? I use it in one of my, or I used to use it in one of my earlier decks, just because I had nothing else, and it's not bad for what it gives you. And we've got the Short Sword. This adds melee damage up to 2 so far with armor breaking. So there's that. I've never used it. I'm sure it has uses. I've never done it. Rock Armor. So this is fantastic, again, for those animals that I mentioned before that already have a shield in them, you know? It starts at 5 shield. That's absurd. And it goes up to 6. So, of course, I use it on my rock monster, so it goes up to 9. And its physical resistance goes up to 3. So that's pretty fantastic. I like it for my specific deck. It works really well with rock monster and snail mail. We've got the Battle Axe. I know a lot of people use the Battle Axe. It's got a variety of things here. At level 3, it will get charge, so keep that in mind. Right now it does 3 at max. It'll do 3 melee damage, and it will do piercing. So again, piercing is pretty awesome, so don't sleep on it. So here's a fantastic item, Twilight. So if you don't have the Obsidian Spear, Twilight's going to be your next go-to. So it'll do 2 melee damage. It does also have charge, 1 instance of charge. So the first time you use it, you will be doing 3 additional melee damage. So I used to use this in green with Jerpip, and it worked fantastically. You could also use it with any animal like Jerpip, as well as like a Quetzal, something like that. So a Voxen Fox works as well. So it's pretty good. Even better if you don't have an Obsidian Spear. If you do, you probably don't need this one, but you could bring it along, I guess. So this is a new item, the Horn of Ages. So it has no shield, but it does have healing. And if you upgrade it, it'll do group heal. So everybody will get healed 1, and then 1 person will get healed an extra time. It actually never gets a shield, so I don't know why even the shield is on there. Weird. Captain Shield. This is a pretty good item. If you don't have the Shuriken, this is probably your next best item. So this has a shield. Excuse me, goes up to 4. Does also have Inspire for 1, and then it silences for 1 turn. I'm debating whether or not to use this one and the Shuriken at the same time. I'm not sure. It might be a little overkill, but silencing is fantastic. If you're not aware, silence does not allow you to use magic attack or healing. So it's very, very good to make sure that poison stays there if you need it to stay there, and to, you know, finish off that pesky magic user before he can destroy your team. So I've seen this one used a lot. Staff of Flight. So this one does magic damage, and it does magic blast. So magic blast will do additional damage to an adjacent enemy. So it's very interesting. I can do up to 2 magic damage. So a total of 3 attack, which is great. So notice the next level, it'll go down 1 magic, but it'll do 2 additional to the adjacent enemy, and then it'll even out at 2/2. So this one's not terrible. It's very good, unless of course you're silence or something like that. Moving on to the next page. Got some additional items here. So these are new. These are the Berserk Gloves. So these have a shield, and then you notice some new icons there. It looks like the Brahma Bull. It's called Rage. So it increases melee attack by the difference of max HP and current HP. This is not available in blue balance because allegedly it would be not fair if you have a Calamity. I don't think that's fair, but whatever. So, and then he's got Taunt, so it becomes a primary target for range attack, and then eventually at level 3 he will get melee attack. So you'll get innately you'll get the Rage and the Taunt. You'll get 1 shield at level 3 and 1 attack. So that's interesting. I've never seen them used, but I'm sure they do have their uses. Feather Cat. This one gives flight. I have noticed that the flight is not as overpowered as normal flight, so do be aware with that. This is actually really good to use, not so much for the flight, but to ensure that you do hit somebody with flight, you know? So you put this on, you're guaranteed to hit that red dragon, that cat knight, that, you know, blue dragon. You're guaranteed to hit them. They are also guaranteed to hit you back, so keep that in mind. Even at its highest, at 5, that's going to get one-shotted by a blue dragon, so do keep that in mind. Then we have the Terror Mask. So Terror Mask is really, really good if you do not have the Armor of Darkness. This is essentially a baby Armor of Darkness without the fear. So it's got some shield and it's got double strike. So you're going to hit somebody and then you're going to hit him again, probably for that max 3 damage. So that's actually huge. Don't sleep on that. That is huge. So you do your normal attack, and then you're going to do that double strike. It's going to hit a random enemy, but for 3 damage, that could probably knock him out. So Terror Mask is really, really good. We've got the Pendant of Courage. It's got Inspire, and then it eventually will do melee attack, and it will eventually get Charge as well. So you see here at level 3, you can get all 3 of them. So, I mean, you're looking at the first time you use it, 1, 2, so 2 additional. I feel like there's a better item that does that. But there's that one. The Hammer, it's hammer time. So it's got no shield, but you can do at max 2 melee attack, and you'll also get 2 armor breaking. So at level 2, you can do 3 armor breaking and 1 melee attack. So you'll have to decide whether or not you want to max it, or if you just want to just keep it at level 2. Even at level 1, it's not terrible. Then we've got the spiked armor. So if you don't have the plague armor, the spiked armor and the spiked, I think they're called Greaves, those are probably your next best. So before I got mine, my plague armor, I was using these. It's pretty good. At level 3 at max, you'll get 3 shield and 3 thorns. So it's like a little baby calamity. It's gonna die in one hit, but you know they're gonna hit him back for the exact same amount, so it's pretty good. Darts. So darts, I want to use them, but the few times that I did, it didn't really work out that well for me. So it has 2 shield. This is at max, and it'll do 1 range attack, but it gives you stealth, right? And then it'll also do poison. So that's pretty good. The main reason I wanted to use darts was for Buchan. Buchan only has 5 HP, so it's very, very squishy, right? So if you put this one on him, then nobody can target him, but it's easily destroyed by a flash guard, so it has no immunity towards flash guards. Then we've got Lucky Shoes. This one at max will do 2 chaos damage, which is a good sweet spot there, and then 1 affinity to magic for some reason. That's a little weird, but I guess that's what they wanted to do. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so let's change this music up a little bit because I'm getting. Let's go a little more hardcore. Just because. What else we got here? So here is the long spear. So this one gives you reach, but it does not give you any additional attacking ability. But you will get armor breaking. So this one's a little different than the Twilight. I think the Twilight's better than this one. So this was like a little baby Twilight because it doesn't give you additional melee attack. But if you have a monster and you know on spots 2 or 3 and you know they just got feared there or something like that, you can throw this one on there and then they'll be able to attack with armor breaking. So that's pretty cool. All right, next page. We're almost to the end here. All these items are so weird. All in the wrong order. So, this shows you how weird this game is. Anyway, so we've got the Longsword. Longsword does have 3 melee attack. Jeez. Plus 1 armor break. And that's actually not bad at all. So it's got, yeah. So that's pretty simple. You know, that's what it does. It's just going to do additional damage. So that's actually not bad. I don't think I've ever really looked at this one too long. But there's the Longsword. Pretty cool. Commander Banner, probably again one of the best items for the green deck and the yellow deck. You've got your Commander Banner. These are generally like 2 crystal cost for those, for the nature and for the fortune deck. So keep that in mind. At max, it's going to do 1 additional range attack, and it's going to do 2 additional melee attack. The real reason this is fantastic, though, is because Inspire is going to make you immune to fear. So fear is huge. I know it's been played a lot. And the more times you can fear an enemy, really, the better you're going to be. So any immunity you can find towards fear is going to help you tremendously in the long run. So get yourself a Commander Banner. Or something that's going to inspire and make sure you can't be feared. Hunter's Bow is a relatively new item. It's got range attack and armor breaking. At max, it can do 2 range attack and 1 armor breaking. Not bad at all. We've got one of the better items for every single class, and that's the Fighting Gloves. These are generally 3 cost, and they come with, at max, 5 armor and 2 additional attack. It doesn't look like the attack ever goes up, but the armor will. So it can make those 4 melee attack people do 6, and then add on top of that all the different inspires and charges and all that, and you know you get pretty crazy. So here's what, yeah, the spiked Greaves. This one also has actually no, these are the War Greaves. I apologize. So this one is just gonna do 3 counterattack. I say just, but I mean that's pretty huge. But it won't give you any shields, so keep that in mind. You will be open to attack, but you're gonna do 3 attack. So if you put this, for example, on top of somebody like Zombo, he's gonna do 6 double strike. That's absurd. Why? Next, we've got the short bow. So the short bow here, this is a staple. Usually costs 2 crystals. Short bow is very simple. It's going to do 2 additional range attack and it's going to poison. Very simple, very easy. If you don't have like a banner parrot or commander banner, this is definitely your one of your best options that you can do. What else we got? Oak Staff. This does magic attack to begin with, then it also adds a melee attack, and then it'll do an additional melee attack at level 3. Here's the spiked Greaves I was talking about. So this one gives you additional armor compared to the other spiked armor, but it's only going to do 1 guaranteed thorn damage. So, but it will give you more armor, so keep that in mind. Then we have the Mercury Wing. So this one adds flight, and then at level 2s and 3s is going to give you charge as well. So this one works probably better than the other one, because just because of the charge. And at level 3 you get 2 charges. So it's going to work for 2 separate attacks. So that's pretty cool. I believe we've come to the end. No, God, there's so many of these. Jesus. Alright, next up, we've got one of the better items. Actually, let's stop. This is the best item in every single deck, and that's the Armor of Darkness. So the Armor of Darkness gives you 5 shield, 2 double strike attack, and fear. Fear is huge. If you don't have this in the deck that you're playing, you're gonna want one. You know, spend that 1,000 dust and that crystal and make one, because Armor of Darkness is by far the best item for every single deck. There's no deck that cannot use this, and it's an amazing item. #1 for every single deck. I said it here, and it's fact. Molten Crossbow. If you've got any sort of side unit, Molten Crossbow is fantastic. I still don't have one. You can notice here I do have a legendary crystal, and it is for the Molten Crossbow. I just don't have enough dust. What can you say about this item? This item is amazing. All right, when it first starts, it has 3 additional range attack. 3, freaking crazy. Put that on top of a banner parrot, and you're doing stupid damage. Then at level 2, it also adds piercing. So that's death. This is death incarnate right here. This is top 3 items for every single deck. I'm telling you right now. Then we have Plague Armor. Plague Armor is really, really good if you're playing Balance, because Balance has Rock Monster, it's got Snail Mail, it's got Calamity. This will also work with Captain Cacti, I suppose, as well as Red Dragon, and what's that other guy, the Lobster. But definitely on the Snail Mail, this is 6 damage on a Snail Mail. That's fantastic. So you're gonna get 6 damage in return for not even hitting me. It's fantastic. And you get poisoned, and you can't hit me with flashcards. Suck it. So I love it. I have 2 Plague Armors. I only use 1, but they are amazing. Commander Hat. So this is a newer item that was just released. It does have shoot command, so it's going to increase it by 2. And you do have, so you'll get at max, you'll get 2 shield and 2 shoot command. Here's the problem with this one: it doesn't keep you from getting feared. So that's why the Commander banner is still kind of better than this one. If you're only gonna pick one, definitely if you want, throw both of them in there. Who cares, you know? So that's good. We've got this item here, the Battle Crown. Battle Crown's pretty cool because it gives you armor, and you'll do chaos damage. Eventually, you'll be able to pierce. The 4 chaos damage, now you have a 25% chance to only do 4 damage. So it's as you get higher chaos damage, you get lower chances of doing the most damage. Unless you're a Chaos Dragon and then you do the most damage every single effing time, but whatever. And then what's next? So this is a newer item as well as the Poison Shot. Interestingly enough, the Poison Shot does not inflict poison. I don't get that. But it goes up to 5 additional chaos damage. So again, now you're even lower now than 25%. So just keep that in mind. But you could eventually do 5 damage, so that's pretty cool. And that's the Poison Shot. We've got the I feel really, really sad about this, but this is the Mage Cap. You know, it used to be really, really good for, you know, the blue deck, and now it sucks because it's 4 costs now for the blue deck. You'll see the normal one is 5 costs. That's even worse. But it does two magic damage. What else we got? We've got the Ouroboros here, the Ring of Mages. So this one's cool. It has resistance to magic. It's got a built-in magic reflect, and it'll do 1 guaranteed damage of magic. So that's really cool. I like that one. We've got the Ebony Staff. All right, here's why the Ebony Staff is a sleeper. If you have an Ebony Staff, I'm telling you, upgrade it right now. You don't have to use it, but upgrade it right now, because when items are able to be upgraded, check it out. At level 4, he gains crystal, right? The sack crystal. What's it called? Additional crystal. So when you sacrifice this card, an item card, it's going to generate you an additional crystal. This is going to be huge. As far as I know, this is the only item in the game right now that can do this. So, and it's got pretty good utility. 3 magic attack and 1 melee attack. That's not terrible, you know? But the real use is going to come at level 4 when you can sack it for an additional crystal. Definitely keep that in mind. I would upgrade it now, or definitely keep it on your radar so you can upgrade it in the future. Now I believe we are on the last page final. Yes, we have finally made it to the end. This is much longer than I thought it would be, but we are here, thank God. Final 6 items. Ring of Poison, which again does not inflict poison. What the what? It does do entangle. You know, everybody loves entangling people. And then it does do 2 resistance to magic damage. Not the, well, let's talk about the Excalibur since I clicked it. Excalibur is pretty damn cool. I mean, it's freaking Excalibur. What do you want? It's got Inspire, so it's going to keep you from getting feared. And it's got 4 melee attack at the end. That's crazy. 4 melee attack. Wow. So yeah, Excalibur is definitely living up to its name. This is the one I wanted to go to. The Heavy Gloves. Heavy Gloves give you reach and 4 shield and 1 armor breaking at max. Not bad. Not bad at all. Here it is. Obsidian Spear. I wouldn't say it's a top item for every deck. There are definitely decks that could use it. But I think those are mainly green, I want to say. Like, the purple deck doesn't need it because all their monsters reach anyway. So it's not, for that purpose of reaching, it's not necessarily necessary. But to add more melee attack, yeah, that's freaking awesome. And it poisons, so we all know how I feel about poison. Obsidian Spear is definitely top 8, maybe? I don't know. It's in there. We've got the Axe of Rage. I'm kind of pissed at the Axe of Rage because it does not come in blue. So I can't use it on with my Calamity because he would own everyone. I understand. It's okay. But you'll get Rage, Armor Breaking, and you'll get 2 melee attacks. So Axe of Rage is pretty cool if you can find somebody to use it on, right? That's sort of the problem right now. We were talking about Excalibur. And then the last one, the Medusa Shield. So Medusa Shield does group heal, right? Group heal of everybody. Does 2 group heal, does entangling, and then gives you armor. So this is really good in the green deck because it's the cheapest in the green deck. But yeah, I mean, it's usually pretty expensive though. I won't lie. It's almost like 5 crystals for everybody. So do keep that in mind, but it's going to give you a lot in return. So that was a lot longer than expected, but thank you so much for watching. So these are all the items. So what I wanted to know from you guys is, what are the top items? What do you guys think are the top items? Not just in general, but also for your specific deck. What works best for you? Quickly, let's look at what I have in my deck. So you see I have my knife. I'm not sure about whether or not to remove it or not, but I really love the capabilities of that knife. I've got the shield. I've got my rock armor. I've got my plague armor. I've got that armor of darkness, and I've got the range bracers. Again, debating whether or not to remove it for the captain's shield, which I may not need because I have the shriek in there. And then I do have another armor of darkness for yellow, mainly to use on my Buchan, so he doesn't die, but also because fear is so powerful. And if I ever get a red monster like a Kamikron, I'm gonna put my other armor of darkness on here so that I can do 3 fears in 1 turn. So just really mess up decks out there. So let me know in the comments, what are your best items in the game, just in general, and then also what works best for you in your specific deck. So again, thank you guys so much for watching this very long video about the items in this game. I definitely think they needed to be talked about because they're very, very important. So thank you guys so much for that. Let me know again in the comments what your best items are, for you and for the game. And I want everybody to have a good, safe weekend. And I will see you guys next week. And I'll see you guys next time on effdash TV. Take it easy, guys.